Some of y'all are funny. Hey, I hope everyone is doing well. So this is ATC time about those comments. Boom. I did the video. Boom. Playbook confirmation. Listen up, ladies. And that was about Children of the Flower Moon. And here's Robert De Niro. He was playing the character of Hale. So I want to do two videos on these comments. Southern Napping said, and basically for someone who may not have seen it, Robert De Niro, he was coaching a young man who was a chauffeur for the Osage tribe, and they were Indians, I believe. They became very wealthy because the land had oil on it. Yeah, that movie even encompassed, as I discussed before on the video about Sarah Rector, about how different people operate. Nothing is new. It's the same game, same state, just a different time and date. So, like in Sarah Rector, she was given that land, inherited, I believe. It was basically deemed as worthless, but turned out oil. And what happened? White men trying to marry her, even white guardianship. And white guardianship is where, when there's wealth involved, back in those days, again, nothing's changed. They would have a white person appointed over the person's wealth to control it. hmm And of course, that person gets paid. Sarah Rector was living in a shack with basically destitute, barely eating decent clothing or shoes. But the white man that was over her money, looking over it, oh, he was living half the hall, living quite wealthy. I bought the book. White Guardianship. Osage and the movie Children of the Flower, Killers of the Flower Moon. Same thing, white guardianship. The woman wants to go somewhere to Washington, D.C. Oh, that's going to be $300. I don't think that's going to be good for you and your children. So he's sitting up overseeing the money. White guardianship. Nothing new. Look at all your professional players. From football, basketball, especially for the black ones. Who do you think is over the money? And a lot of those guys aren't good with money to begin with. Who do you think is over the money? So it's nothing new. It's the same thing. So basically, what he was doing, he was making sure when he was speaking to his nephew, speaking to the other young man, the one who played Leonardo DiCaprio, um, he was telling him, hey, because he was the chauffeur for one of the Osage women. He was the chauffeur. So, people that have resources, they're always planning. Always. You want to stay one step ahead. Not living vicariously, hey, hey, partying all the time and just talking and running your mouth and doing absolutely nothing. So in the film, Hale, played by Robert De Niro, he was like, I think he said like maybe 7 years or so that their wealth would run out. They had a cattle farm. He then was telling Leonardo DiCaprio's character that, hey, that Osage woman, basically, are you the married kind? You got the face for it, because if so, if he were to marry her, he even had the research as how the money would flow. She had a mother, I believe the mother was sickly, so they probably knew, well, she's not gonna last very long. So he knew if you married her, started a family again, it's about building, which is the concept that some of us are yet to grasp, but that's okay. If you married her and have kids, what did he say? That money will flow back to us. Not through baby mama, through marriage. It's about building. He made it real clear. That money will flow back to us. So the same thing when you see these professional athletes, non-black women, everybody got the game. And see, it's videos like this here is not popcorn knowledge. The ones that need to hear it don't want to hear it. That's why they keep on failing. Popcorn knowledge. Oh, but if it's a video about a 79-year-old twerking on her head and he 99-year-old and got somebody pray, oh, some laughing and ha ha ha, we all on top of it. That's the problem, a lot of people. So over here, Southern Happiness said it's an old game. Oh yes, truly that. It's an old. That's the part I don't. When is this group gonna get it? It's an old game. It's all about resources. She said it's an old game, and they don't play that light bill Larry ish. Only one who's playing light bill Larry ish is the BC. How this turning out for you? Baby mama, fatherless homes, 50-50. And in that movie, those Osage Indian women, what did you see? White husbands. They knew, uh-oh, boogie boogie down over there. We're doing the opposite in the BC. Black women get your education, get a good job, and then scrape from the bottom of the barrel. Keep on scraping. How low can it go? Scrape from the bottom of the barrel and pick up some old dust bucket so we can bring you down and stress you the hell out. Oh, I don't believe in marriage because the men, first of all, most don't have anything to offer you. Many black women are taking care of these men, if you want to be honest with you. Many are. I don't need to hear about your husband or your cousin or your daddy. Well, my husband, they care me, and congratulations to you. He's doing what he should. That's not the norm. Let's live in our truth. My father took care of us. Is that the norm growing up? Hell no. If so, we wouldn't have so much poverty. But something happened to said, and Sharon Bouchon said, I agree. It's an old game. Exactly. But when are we going to pick up the game? It's an old game. Life is business. It's business. Again, in the movie, wow, the Indian women got white husbands. Wow, what was it all about? The resources. They're not trying to sit up here and I'm gonna let you know. Only a self-hating idiot, a foolish person, would sit up here and keep on continuing a poverty of cycle. I'm serious. You want to holler about black love? It's not as strong as you may think it is. I don't, and I'm talking about as a collective. In my opinion, it sure as hell is not there. From the billionaires in Okra land on down to the homeless, to the middle class, working class, family, friends. It's not there as you might think it is. Again, it's an old game. But see, a lot of our people despise wisdom. Again, we like some popcorn knowledge. We despise wisdom. Seeing stuff like that, it'll just go over their head. I didn't think about that. Well, we're trying to tell you. It's an old game. We have an old game too. It's just an old game of poverty. An old game of poverty. Again, they have a playbook. We have a playbook, but I think our playbook needs to be put in the trash and rewritten ASAP. And even if that was the case, most wouldn't read it anyway. It's an old game. Exactly. They don't play library shit. They don't. They're not gonna have their daughter sitting up here. Well, we want you to go ahead and pick up this man. You gotta work for him. And you can take care of everything. That's just the way it is. At least you got one. What the hell is that? That's backward nonsense. Really, I think it's abuse. What are we teaching our daughters? Grandmama, what are you teaching your granddaughters? See, by now you get some life experiences. You understand? You should share them. But oh no, I think in our community, a lot of it is we're not going to be wrong. And even though we see, well, grandmama met a man and had 15, 20, 11, 50, 11 children, and then mama did it, and everybody in poverty. I just saw a news report. You got 3 generations sitting up in a hotel about to be homeless. The grandmama, well, the mother, and her 2 kids. Then one of her kids has a kid. So the mother, who's now a grandmother, her two kids, a girl and a boy, then her daughter has a kid. They're living in a hotel. The mama's sharing a bed with her son. And I'm assuming he's a teenager or an adult. And then the daughter, well, I'm assuming a teenager. And then the daughter is sleeping in the other bed with her baby. 3 generations facing homelessness. Really and truly, I mean, seriously. But I guess we're not going to be wrong. So we're not going to be wrong. That's the way it is. We're going to go ahead and continue the torch of ignorance, the torch of poverty. That too is an old game, and we ought to be tired of it. But I guess we're not. That there, what they're practicing, it's an old game. Seems to work out for them, huh? Even now, when you see these dumb black women going after these black men with money, what do you think it is? Ain't because this Negro is so charming and wonderful. They know it comes from, in most cases, a dysfunctional background, poor. He got some money now. Be lining on over there, ladies. It's an old game. Who would tell their daughters, oh, go ahead and get with a man that can pay the light bill and maybe every now and then, take you out to dinner? Would you not want better for yourself? But I think in our community, I think when you have a group that's been subjugated so they internalize the hatred that others have for them, and then they start to internalize that and hate themselves. We're at a point where grandmama and mama, they're not going to be wrong. So we'll see the daughters going into the same path and say nothing. It's time to start having the conversations early, and I don't mean when they're 15, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's have a conversation. Well, one day when you get up and you find a princess or a man to marry you, it's time we should be doing that. Now wait till she's 15, and what's wrong with you? She's throwing up all hell. Look what's done happened. Why don't we? Well, Mama, you did it. See, we're not going to be wrong. So I guess we'd rather just stand in the face of ignorance and just let the young compete. The ones who will listen, let them go ahead and repeat the same mistakes. Is that who we are? Just like them, aligning themselves with people that has resources. That's an old game. We have an old game of aligning the women get aligned with poverty, the seed of poverty. How's it working out for you? A man that can't even take you on a shopping spree at the Dollar Tree, a man that's got to move in with you. Pump the brakes on that. Life is getting hard in this country. A lot of women carry the seed of poverty and they're finding out. Ended up homeless. Where's the man at? But hey, it's nothing strange. That's how we do in the BC. Why? It's an old, dust bucket, poverty stricken generational, sad but true. It's an old game. That's the game the BC plays. hmm that's the game the BC plays. So just like they have a playbook too, so do we. It's just full of dust. So anyway, yeah, they're not playing no light bill Larry. If that's the case, why don't they go to the projects and just chase down a whole bunch of black men? They wait till he has some resources. Why? Because she's right. They don't play that light bill Larry ish. They know to go after him when he has resources. The light bill Larry ish is reserved for black women. And let me tell you, that game is old. It's so old, guess what? It's time to retire it. That game needs to be over. And I'm out.